Welcome back inside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia. It's our pleasure this week to introduce a new member of the WEEI.com crew, Ryan Hannable. You read his work on WEEI.com, the Red Sox and Patriots page. Ryan Hannable is around the Patriots every single week here at Gillette Stadium. And Ryan, we laugh about it, but the players certainly were pretty miserable this week. Tom Brady alluded to it in his press conference with us here on Wednesday morning that it's a quality of life issue when we lose around here. Everybody is miserable. You saw it on Monday when Bill Belichick walked through the locker room. Not a smile to be seen after being on the air with Dale and Holly in the afternoon doing his radio hit. He was miserable. Tom Brady was miserable. The thing that's going to turn things around is simply having a better performance on Sunday against the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the season, every team is going to be having some struggles, and they really can't look at other teams, you know, and what they can do. They have to focus on themselves, and quite frankly, the Patriots had a lot of struggles on Sunday, but the offensive line being one of them, and their second half performance as a whole defense, you know, giving up the 23 points that they did. It's an all-around team effort that needs to get better.
I think you hit on a point there, Ryan, that is a very critical one for these Patriots, and that is focus on your own house. There's going to be a lot of talk leading up to this game about Adrian Peterson, obviously an all-world running back, one of the best of all time. Cordell Patterson, number 84, their star wide receiver. One of the best unknown, talked about deep threats in the passing game in the NFL. They're going to have to be concerned about that. Obviously, on the defensive side of things, their head coach, Mike Zimmer, comes from a pressure-oriented system in Cincinnati. He takes over Minnesota, and Everson Griffin had 2 sacks as part of a 5-sack effort by the Minnesota defense, but it's got to start with the Patriots, and I think, Ryan, their offensive line has got to pick it up. What did you see on Sunday that really needs improvement along that offensive line?
Just a lot of breakdowns, and it wasn't just one particular person. I mean, the Patriots rotated guys in and out. Everyone who dressed played, so it wasn't just one particular guy. But as a whole, they need to get better. You know, Brady was under duress almost every time he dropped back to pass, and he clearly was uncomfortable and clearly affected his performance.
You know, and I think we talked about it before we went on the air here, and that is Chris Price wrote about the fact that the Patriots, I thought, got away from the running game, especially in the second half. I mean, Shane Vereen was getting his holes in the middle of that offensive line. He was the one who set up the first touchdown of the day for the Patriots, and I thought they got away from it. I think they need to be more physical up front, and that is certainly, if you're physical up front and you can pound and ground, that is one way to take pressure off the quarterback.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Chris did a good job of bringing it down, I think it was yesterday on WEEI.com. And I looked at the stats. The Patriots were the second worst in the NFL on first down, averaging like 3.82 yards per play. And that's not going to get it done when you have second and long every single time. That's not going to help Brady as a quarterback or the whole offense in general. So they need to be better on first down.
We had a sneak peek at practice here on Wednesday, and Jordan Devey was again at right guard as he started the game on Sunday in Miami. There were no major changes along that offensive line. A lot of people wondering what can the Patriots do to shake things up, and I think, you know, the Patriots showing the same offensive line to the media during the media availability in practice is kind of a signal that, hey, look, you know, we're not going to make any drastic changes here. We've just got to play better. We've got to not get beaten off the ball. I thought Nate Solder struggled on the edge. I thought Sebastian Vollmer got beaten a couple of times around edge. That can't happen this week.
No, definitely not, especially with the pass rush that the Vikings have. I mean, every team in the league pretty much has a good pass rush these days, so the Patriots can't just look at last week and say, oh, that's just 1 week against Miami's front court. It's going to be almost week in and week out. So it starts with practice today and, you know, working on things that went wrong and getting better right away.
Tom Brady says that, Ryan, almost every single week. Every team has a good aggressive pass rush. You're not in the NFL and you're not a competitive team without a lot of athletes along the defensive front, whether it's a 3-4 or 4-3 look. You're going to have a lot of guys who can get to the quarterback, and that's just the way it is in the 2014 NFL. You were on the conference call with Matt Castle, the former Patriot backup quarterback. Obviously, he filled in for Tom Brady in 2008. Some of your takeaways about what Matt Castle is looking forward to, you know, having weapons like Adrian Peterson and the aforementioned Cordell Patterson.
Well, he talked about Peterson, how he's everything that he thought he was coming into Minnesota, how it's awesome to have a running back of Peterson's capabilities. And then he spoke to, you know, facing the Patriots for the first time and how much he learned when he was here in New England, understudy of Tom Brady. He talked about especially his leadership on the field and what he did to sort of lead the offense and take control of the guys in sort of a without controlling type of way and you know, having the players trust that way. He was pretty businesslike in what he was talking about, but he was excited to play the Patriots. He still keeps in touch with Tom Brady. He said they talk almost every other week during the season, and then during the offseason they work out together and play golf. So obviously it's a homecoming of sorts on the road for Castle. So he's looking forward to the game.
All right, and Tom Brady asked about Matt Castle on Wednesday here at Gillette, said, "I love the guy. We're always going to be good friends." And obviously, Ryan, to your point, that relationship certainly continues off the field. Patriots need to get back on track, and it starts in practice here at Gillette Stadium on Wednesday. We'll have full coverage all week long leading up to the game this Sunday in Minneapolis at the University of Minnesota. Obviously, their new stadium opens not until 2016, so this game will be at the University of Minnesota. 1 o'clock, the Patriots look to get back on track against Mike Zimmer's Minnesota Vikings. Alongside Brian Hannable, I'm Mike Petraglia at Gillette Stadium, WEEI.com.